Hi there, I'm Mike. What I have for you today is Star Wars The Black Series number 85, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Padawan. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get to this guy. I'm just gonna have to admit to myself that I'm not the kind of person to get a review out the day something comes out. At least not all the time. And I'm okay with that. Let's get the review started by taking a look at a picture of him while I read the bio on the back of the box. Like all Jedi of his era, Obi-Wan Kenobi was raised in the Jedi Temple from a very young age. He first underwent training with Yoda before being assigned to Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn in his teens. Now this is Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I have to say the whole thing. A movie that I, for a while, regarded as the worst Star Wars movie. And then, after a while, years passed, tastes change, and then I realized, no, Attack of the Clones is worse. But it's part of the Star Wars mythos, and I need it on my shelves. Obi-Wan Kenobi here was played by Ewan McGregor of Train Spotting fame, and, well, I think Moulin Rouge came out after this movie. Anyways, he was an actor, and he still is an actor, and he's pretty much regarded as a meme on the internet. So as always, the first part of my review is the likeness. Does this character look as he looks on film? And the answer is yes, to a point. Of course, just like every figure released since 2018, Obi-Wan here is rocking the digital face printing technology that has absolutely changed the game in the Star Wars world with Hasbro, Black Series, all of that stuff. They can do amazing likenesses with amazing detail, lifelike features, all down to that sculpting and, more importantly, the painting and face printing. Hasbro's always had a pretty decent sculpt game going on, but the paint always let the figures down. And I do this with the paint because it's this paint, not like this paint. But thanks to that new patented Hasbro technology, I actually don't know if it's patented technology, but thanks to that technology, Obi-Wan here is rocking Ewan McGregor's face to an almost creepy level. Honestly, it's eerie how close his face looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi's. I can't really get over it. I feel like I'm looking at a tiny Ewan McGregor and he's just staring directly into my soul. But I said mostly, and the problem here isn't so much with the face. The likeness of the face is good, but the likeness also includes the outfit that he's wearing. This is from a very specific scene in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And I, again, for some reason, have to say the whole thing. I'm going to try just to say The Phantom Menace at some point. For like 90% of the movie, he's rocking his patented trademark Jedi robe. All of the Jedi are. And then at the very end, he takes it off for the climax where he fights Darth Maul with his master Qui-Gon Jinn. So yeah, in that regard, in that scene, for those like 10 or 20 minutes of the movie, actually not even that long, he looks like this because he takes off his robe. But for the rest of the movie, you have to buy some kind of weird custom robe online, spend even more money because Hasbro, for whatever reason, decided not to put one in. So I'm going to dock it a little bit here because yes, he looks like Obi-Wan from the movie, but I wish he had options of looking like all of Obi-Wan from the movie rather than one specific scene or collection of scenes. So I'm going to give the likeness a 0.75. It's good, don't get me wrong. He looks like Ewan McGregor, but the lack of that robe, it makes me feel a little sad that I can't recreate his look from, most of the movie. And speaking of accessories or lack thereof, let's talk about what he does come with and more importantly what he doesn't come with. Let's start with what he does come with. He comes with his lightsaber. That's pretty much it. Now this lightsaber is his specific Episode 1 lightsaber, a lightsaber that he lost in the movie, so he only had it for this one kind of movie. It looks great. The hilt is molded with detail, it's painted. I believe it is black with painted silver accents and features. It does have a removable blue blade, just like he had, well, the blade wasn't removable, you could turn it off in the movie, but here you can't turn off a plastic lightsaber. I do want to have a word of caution here. Just like Mace Windu's lightsaber, the peg for the hilt, where the blade goes into the hilt, is a lot longer than they used to be, and it takes a lot more effort to pull off. You can, but be very careful with it. I think they did that so if it does fall, it will be less likely to break because the stem inside is longer, but it is a little more precarious when removing. I find that if I just put some gentle but constant pressure on both sides and pull them apart, eventually they'll just come apart. But I don't want to do it often because it scares me, and I'm an adult, so I don't scare that easily, not from a toy anyway. Now this is where he's actually a little bit better than Mace Windu, and I'm comparing that because that's the most recently released Jedi. he actually has the spot on his belt for his lightsaber to peg into. That's what he comes with, and that's it. The problem is, that's literally all he comes with. As I mentioned at the likeness, he is missing his Jedi robes, and it's absolutely egregious that he does not come with his Jedi robes. The old Obi-Wan comes with it. Mace Windu, a figure that just released before this, came with it. Why wouldn't you? It's just so simple. You have them lying around, Hasbro. But that's not all he doesn't come with. When Hasbro announced this figure, they showed him off with a lot of cool photos, a lot of official production type photos, a prototype where he had different poses and showing off his accessories and stuff. And one of those accessories was alternate hands. And then they showed him off at the Toy Fair and then again at the Star Wars Celebration. And the regular release figure always had an alternate hand on him to give him that like pointy thing that Obi-Wan doesn't do in this movie, but he does in like episode 2 and 3. So I don't know why Hasbro decided to use this to do it, but you know what? I wasn't arguing. It was an extra accessory, and I was happy with it. So yeah, I'm a little bitter about the lack of an extra hand. I mean, Qui-Gon came with an extra hand. Why couldn't Obi-Wan come with an extra hand? You know, just little things like that. So extra hand, he's lacking, and I would like other hands as well because you know, if you're gonna come with one, why not mold different hands? It's nice to have different hands. Maybe a different face. Maybe that no face that, you know, he had when Qui-Gon died, since they're rocking this look anyways. Little things like that. They really could have upped the game here, but instead all we have is a lightsaber and sadness and disappointment. So because of that, I'm going to give him a 0.25. I'm not going to give him no points because he comes with a lightsaber and I am very happy that his lightsaber can clip on his belt, as stupid as that is. But the lack of the robe, the lack of the extra hand or any extra hands, and it's just a disappointment that it doesn't come with anything. That's accessories. Let's move on to his articulation. How does he move? How good is it? How bad is it? Let's take a look. His head moves all the way around. Forward this far, back this far. It has a bit of a waggle. His shoulders move out this far. They move all the way around. He has a butterfly joint that moves back and forth. He has a slightly greater than 90-degree bend at his elbows, as well as an elbow swivel. He has a wrist swivel and a hinge. He has a swivel at the waist. It moves forward this far, back, and not so much. His leg moves forward this far, back this far. He has an upper thigh rotation, double jointed knee, and a hinge at the ankle, as well as a rocker. With this being Obi-Wan's widest stance with both his feet flat on the ground. So all in all, he's 2019 standard, if you know what I mean. I mean, if you've seen any of my reviews, you know that 2019 has been a pretty good year for Star Wars The Black Series, articulation-wise. He's joining an ever-growing number of Black Series figures that comes with the new butterfly joints at his shoulders, and that's especially important here on a Jedi figure, much like Mace Windu, where it lets him bring his shoulders and arms closer together so you can have this cool two-handed pose, which is a pose, you know, they often have in the movies. So that's a welcome improvement. I'm happy they've been keeping that going on, but it seems like they're only putting it on when they can hide those butterfly joints. They're going for looks over actual function, so the fact that he can hide the butterfly joints underneath his rope here, or his little cuff shoulder thing, I don't know what that is. The fact that he can hide it there is probably why they put it there. But, you know, other than that, he's pretty standard. His torso is great, his head moves fine. He's got a deeper than 90-degree bend at his elbows, so he can pull off a lot of fantastic poses. His skirt part doesn't hinder leg movement. And unlike Mace Windu, he doesn't actually suffer from the fact that his feet can't go forward far enough, so he doesn't tend to fall backwards. He stands really solidly, and you can put him in some fun dynamic poses. So I'm going to give the articulation the full point as well. Speaking of the soft rubber that goes around the shoulders and on this skirt part, let's talk about the paint and sculpt. He's mostly one color, and you know, this isn't the toy's fault. This is how Obi-Wan is designed. Despite the mostly whiteness of his outfit, the colors in there do tend to make him pop. His shirt has a lot of sculpted detail. The tunic is layered to give it kind of a depth effect. He's got folds and creases in his pants and on his arms and sleeves. It makes everything look very, very lifelike. His boots are great. They look leather. They've got the folds. They're nicely painted. His belt has a lot of great painted accents, and everything is sharp. I love the paint job on this for what paint that there is. And there's actually not a whole lot. It's mostly in his boots and his belt, and everything else is It's pretty white. As much as I want to dock it some points for being kind of plain, I really can't fault the figure for that. So I'm going to give it the full point because I really feel bad taking that partial point away just because he's mostly the same color. It's not his fault it's not after Labor Day. The movie came out in May. So let's talk about want and availability. Did I want this? The answer is emphatically yes. He was on at least 2, if not 3 of my top 10 lists of figures that I wanted to come out. We've had Qui-Gon for quite some time. We've had Darth Maul since the very first wave of the very first phase. He was figure number 2, I think. We've needed an Obi-Wan Kenobi for a long time to kind of fill out that little triumvirate, I guess. I was a little disappointed that he doesn't come with his customary robe. I do wish they had, but just gonna sit on my shelf next to Qui-Gon and Darth Maul, and none of them are gonna wear their robes, although unlike Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, Darth Maul has the option to. But in terms of availability, how easy is it to procure one of these? Well, he's part of the current wave hitting shelves right now, and just like Chopper, he is packaged 2 to a case, meaning if you find a fresh case on the shelves, 2 of him will be on there. They did that because I think of all of the 6 figures released in this wave, he's probably one of the most requested ones, so they're trying to meet those fan demands by packing him extra in a case. So that is Wave 21 that he's part of. He's number 85 in the line, as I said at the very beginning. So he should be pretty easy to find, although there is an alternate version of this. He was released at Star Wars Celebration as part of the 20th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And it came in a fancy, shiny recreation of the Star Wars Episode 1 blister card, which I thought was a really cool touch. But if you can't find him in stores, you can easily find him online. He's even been on sale on Amazon a couple times for as low as about $14. Hasbro Pulse has him. Dorkside Toys, Entertainment Earth, pick your poison. You can pretty much easily find him online if you can't find him in stores and you really, really want him. So despite the fact that he's not hard to find and he was on my wish list for a while, that disappointment really does hurt. Like the man said, twice the pride, double the fall. So I'm going to dock him a little bit because I wanted him so bad, and the disappointment it brings it down. It brings that enjoyment down just a little bit. So I'm going to give it a 0.75 for want/availability. So if you've been paying attention, that leaves us with a final score of 3.75 out of 5. Like I said, I do like him, but he is a little bit of a disappointment. And I don't like them basically forced to go online and find a third-party kind of handmade robe to go around him. Sure, it's not that expensive and they're pretty plentiful, but he really should have come with it. And the fact that he didn't hurt him in a couple different areas. That's how important a robe is to this figure. But if you were like me and you've got Qui-Gon and Darth Maul and an internal struggle on your shelf and you need that Obi-Wan Kenobi Padawan likeness to jump in and help him out, then I recommend picking him up. If you're not a huge fan of the prequels, then you could probably pass on him. Despite my complaints, I really do think he's still worth the pickup. So that's been my review of Obi-Wan Kenobi Padawan. What did you think? Let me know down in the downstairs area below. I love to read and respond to all those comments. There's also a couple different ways while you're down there that you can help my channel out if you want to, including buying things online or shipping me stuff to my P.O. box. Well, whatever you want to do, if you want to do something, it's down there. You can also like, share, and subscribe if you want to. That really does help the channel out a lot. And that's it. Thanks so much for getting this far, and I'll see you later. Bye.